Okay, so surface area of a rectangular prism. So these ones get a little trickier at times because there's a lot to look at. So Kara, for you, you'd want to envision like a cereal box. You know how it has a lid and a bottom, and then it has the two sides and then the front side of the cereal box and the back side. So imagine dismantling the box without tearing anything and but separating it into one net. That's what this would look like here. Okay, so you have the bottoms, the tops. There's two of everything, a bottom and a top that are both the same. The back sides are both the same, and the sides are both the same. So the hardest part is starting to get in the practice of identifying the length and the width and the height. So in this example, I did the red. The red is your length, the width is your blue, and your height is your 15. Okay, so the sum of the areas of all the surfaces or faces contained in a three-dimensional figure solid is called the surface area. So rectangular prisms are made up of 6 rectangular faces. We have to find the areas of all 6 faces. Then add them together to find the surface area of the solid. So what I did here is I tried to color coordinate everything for you. So first off, the 2 comes from the fact that there's a bottom and a top to basically each of the sides. Think about a cereal box. So if you have one, you can put it in front of you so you can kind of get an idea of what we're doing here. So again, the 2 represents, like for example, the bottom, the top. There's 2 of them that are going to be the same. You're going to double the sides because those are going to be the same. And then the 240 is kind of like the big face of it all. You're going to double that for the front and the back. So with that said, the formula, yes, it's daunting, but it is written out here for you and color coded. So it's the 2. You're going to go width times height, find the length times the width, and then the length times the height, and add those values together. So what I did here is I'm just going to walk you through the formula and then we'll reference the image. So we have 5 times 15 for the width times the height. And then the length times the width is 16 times 5. The length times the height is 16 times 5. So again, the biggest thing that you need to do first is identify what the length is, what the width is, and the height is, and then just plug them into the formula. But it's important to know where it derived from, so that's why I took a minute to discuss the idea of a net, not a net. So with that said, I kind of took my work over to the side. So 5 times 15 is 75. 16 times 5 is 80. And then 16 times 15 is 240. So I went ahead and added them all together to get 395. And then I multiplied that by 2 to get 790 square units. Now surface area again is square units. So here again is your formula. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and look. I did one just so we could go through it. And then we'll do another one together. So here is your length. This is your width. Those are the first things that you want to take out. And then the height runs perpendicular with the base, which is your length times width. So with that, what we went ahead and did here was we went width times height. So the 4 times 3, which gave us 12. The length times the width, 6 times 3 is 18. And then the length times the height, 6 times 4 gives us the 24. So 12 plus 18 is 30, plus 24 is 54. And then you just double that to give you a surface area of 108 square feet. Okay, so I think the biggest thing here is understanding what the length is versus what the width is versus what the height is. If you can figure that out, you're in good shape. All right, so in this case, notice that the length and the height are the same. Okay, so this is your length, and I went ahead and marked it up over here, but this is also 5. So, and then the width is going to be your 4. So this is your 4. So now I'm going to go ahead and plug into the formula. So I get area equals, now starting here, width times height. So the width times the height, 4 times 5 is 20. Whoops, I'm going to scooch this out a little bit to go 2 and then go 20 plus. Now the next one is length times width. So your length is 5 times your width, which is 20. And then again, the last part, length times height. Your length is 5 times your height, which is 25. So 5 times 5 is 25. Don't forget, in all of this area is just basically length times width. So you can go around and find the length times width, double it, and then add them all together and do it that route as well. All right, so with that, let's go over this one more time. Width times height. Your width is 4 times your height. 4 times 5 is 20. Length times width was the same. Length of 5 times the width, 5 times 4 is 20. And then the length times the height, the length times the height, which is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. All right, so now we're just going to add this up. So 20 plus 20 is 40, plus 25 is 65. So then we get an area of 2 times 65 is 130 square centimeters. So let's see here. Let me just show you something. I don't know if it's going to allow me to do this, but we're going to try it out anyway. If I go ahead and plug in my values, what was it? You can use, I just don't remember the numbers, to be honest, so let me go back. All right, so there's a calculator that you can plug in all the numbers to help you get in the habit of understanding. It'll identify the length, the width, and the height for you just until you get it down. So I'll send you that link as well. But other than that, that's an example of surface area. I'm going to go ahead and for this, I'm just going to put it on Delta Math for your practice.